David Quinn here. Did you ever stop and take a minute to think about tubes? That's right, tubes. They're round and hollow. Some come in very weird shapes. They can be long or short. Let's face it, tubes are all around us, and they have their uses. You can pass things through a tube. Tubes are great for that, sending things from one place to another. And you can hold things in a tube, too. You can hold toothpaste in a tube, put a little ink in a tube, and you've got a pen. And, of course, what would macaroni and cheese be without tubes? Then, of course, there's the ever-popular inflatable inner tube. Air inside, bounceable, all over. And the air inside a tube that helps you float can do other things. Just wrap a tube around you and blow. Tuba, from the Latin word meaning tube. Tuba. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
If you're a spiral, you got it. A sphere, you got it. A hexagon's got it too.
If you're a shell, you got it.
A crystal, you got it. A honeycomb's got it too. You got it. You got structure, and structure does something for you. If you're a spiral, you can grow and keep your same shape. Bubbles and beehives, tendrils and turtles, and snowflakes too. All things have structure, feathers and flowers, and so do you. You got it, you got structure, and structure does something for you. If you're a sphere, you've got the most inside for the least amount of outside. If you're hexagonal, you've got 6 walls, and you can pack together tight. You got it, you got structure, and structure does something for you. Structure does something for you.
Okay, Steph, do you think that this single sheet of paper will be able to support this amount of weights?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, watch carefully. Okay, you were right this one time. But what if I change the shape?
Is this going to have to do with tubes?
Yep. I'll just watch this. I'll roll up the piece of paper and put it down, and this is a whole bunch of weights. Watch this. More weights and more weights. Have I added any paper? Have I taken any away?
Nope.
See? Same amount of paper, more than the same amount of weights, but it's got a different
structure.
Right, it's a tube.
One thing you can build with tubes, a bike. A lot of bikes you see are built in large numbers on an assembly line. They're mass-produced. But there are some bikes that are built to be one of a kind, like these racing bikes. Racing bikes are built for speed. They must be strong, rigid, and light. The lighter the bike, the faster it can be. So you must use very lightweight materials. Using lightweight materials calls for some special techniques.
This is our machine shop for the U.S. Cycling Team's Technical Development Center. This is where we have all our machines that we actually build the bicycles and parts with.
This is where the bikes for the U.S. Olympic racing team get built, at the Huffy Corporation in Ohio.
Where we squash things. This is a vertical ram and turret mill where we drill holes.
It's Mike Melton's job to design and build some of the fastest bikes in the world.
What do you make bikes out of?
Mainly tubes. We use a lot of different materials in those tubes. We use Kevlar tubes, we use graphite, steel, aluminum tubes. A lot of different things like that.
What do you think is the most
here
important part of Mike's
Some
job?
examples.
Designing new wheels,
Bicycles that we made
steering,
in the past.
pedals. It's making the frame. And the frame is made of tubes. Tubes have an ideal structure for building something that's strong and rigid, yet lightweight.
Opie, here's a drawing of the bicycle frame that we're going to be building while you're here.
Mike and I are building one kind of lightweight racing bike.
And over here
We start
are
out
all
with
the
a
raw
drawing
materials
and a
that we need
small
to make the
pile of
frame.
aluminum tubes.
Is this a customized bike frame?
Yes, this is a custom frame for a specific individual.
How do you customize a bike frame?
Well, we begin by measuring the rider's body, and then we fit the bicycle frame to his body.
So all these pieces right here are going to be cut to fit this drawing?
That's right. We cut each tube to specifications according to the blueprint.
Oh,
You take the tubing, and I'll take everything else.
okay. It's really light.
Yes, it's only going to weigh 4 to 4.5 pounds when we're finished.
Cutting the tubes goes pretty easily. But the walls of each tube are very thin. Joining them won't be easy.
Okay, Hope, if you'll put your safety glasses on, we'll begin the miter.
Okay.
All right? Pull that, go ahead and pull that down.
With this?
Yes.
First, the tubes have to be mitered, or cut at an angle in order to fit together.
That's good, and we'll lock that in place. Now, if you'll reach over there and turn the dial and feed the cutter into the piece very slowly.
Pretty easy.
That's because you're mitering aluminum. Now, if this were steel, it would be much harder. Aluminum is soft. Okay, we want to go just a little bit further. Now, feed it in the other direction. Turn the knob the other way. Okay, now we'll just raise this up.
So far, so good. But here's where it gets tricky.
Are we ready to weld it?
The tubes have to be connected, and because they're aluminum, they're too fragile for screws or other fasteners. How to join them? For some of the joints, you use heat, the very high heat of welding. You heat 2 of the pieces to be joined and melt a 3rd piece of metal to fuse them together.
Now, this is not our finished weld. This just holds it in place so that we can go on the other side and do the same thing, and then we'll finish welding it.
Next, you try fitting all the parts together to make sure they meet well.
No? And we slide on like this. That fits there. Now this is the wishbone, and it goes in right here. Top tube. We have a down tube. Okay.
Wow, it's starting to look like a bicycle.
Won't be long.
Then you take it all apart again.
Put glue on each surface, and then we'll put everything together.
Many of the joints have already been welded. Everything else will be held together with glue.
Just smear it out really good.
last step came as a surprise. I'd never heard of baking a bike. Now that we've glued the frame together, why do we put it in the oven?
Well, the oven is at 350 degrees, and we put it in there for 1 hour, and that causes the glue that we put in here to get very hard and bond all the tubes together.
Well, how do the lugs get hardened then?
Well, we've already heat treated them in another process.
So it actually goes into several ovens in order to make the frame stronger.
That's correct. That's correct. And this is the final heat curing process. Okay, now we have to be careful here because this is quite hot.
Okay.
Yeah, you got your gloves on there.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Yep.
Up.
Well, the tray is heavy, but the frame itself isn't. It doesn't weigh much more than a cake, but it'll be able to support a 200-pound person. For 1 hour?
1 hour, and then the cake's done. Okay, Hopi, let's put this thing together. Bring me the right crank.
Of course, once the frame's done and has been painted, you do need a few other parts.
Here.
These solid discs will cut down on wind resistance on the wheels.
Okay, now go get me the chain.
Okay. Every part is as lightweight as possible.
Need this too, right?
Yes. Okay, Hopi, if you'll get the front handlebar.
I love these handlebars.
Slide it right in there. Very carefully.
See how much it weighs.
Probably one of the lightest bicycles in the world.
Woo! Frame and all, 17 pounds, and built for speed.
3, 2, 1. Contact. The pipe organ, a huge musical instrument that uses pipes and air to make sound. To open pipes for certain notes, you play the organ with both hands and both feet. Knobs called stops open up whole groups of pipes. A bellows pumps air through the pipes. When the air vibrates in the pipes, we hear sounds. But for the organ to make certain sounds, musical notes, you need to make containers of different sizes to hold the air. Short, thin pipes hold only a small amount of air. The air inside vibrates quickly and makes high notes. Long, wide pipes hold lots of air. The air vibrates slowly, making low notes. A large organ may have over 5,000 pipes. And when an organist pulls out all the stops, you hear a full range of sounds. There are plenty of tube structures in nature. For instance, a lot of plants grow in a tall, hollow shape, like reeds and bamboo.
If something like food or water has to get around or inside something living, then tubes are useful. Bones are tubes. They're hollow. Birds' bones are hollow and light.
Some things live inside tubes. Tube worms live inside this, in the ocean. And look at this, a crab leg. See anything familiar?
Yep, tubes. Another example of something that people use.
But nature found it first.
In England, the roof of your house can be made of clay tiles, or slates. But many houses still have roofs covered in one of the oldest of all building materials, thatch, a thick covering of straw or reeds. Fixing thatch to a roof takes a lifetime of know-how. It's a craft only a few people still practice. But in the countryside of England, thatched roofs are still there, on big and small houses, country inns, schools, and even churches. Whole villages sometimes have thatched roofs. Thatch lasts a long time, but as it gets older, moss and grass grow on it, and it's damaged by birds, rats, mice and other pests. Eventually it has to be replaced by someone who knows how to cover a roof with reeds, a thatcher. Ray Atchew has been a thatcher all his life. He let me in on some of his secrets.
First of all, I have to take the needles and set them up, cut the string, roll it out, joint it up here.
Do you have to make sure it's properly joined like that?
Oh yes, that's important to get that joint right, because otherwise, you know, it's not going to be 100% watertight. Dress it up.
Why is that called dressing up?
Well, it's giving you the pitch of the roof. You know, it's allowing the reed to be knocked into position for the pitch of the roof. I have to get a second bundle of reed and put on the top there. Exactly the same as the first one, cut the string. And each bundle is covering approximately 1 square foot. I have to take the needles out.
Do you have a special tool that does that for you?
Yes, here it comes. Look, the legget. And dress that up.
What's it got on the other side?
There it is, look. Horseshoe nails.
Did you make it yourself?
Yes, I did. It's a 9-inch square piece of wood with horseshoe nails in it and just an ordinary handle on. That's all we've got.
Can I have a go?
Yeah. Break all the little bits and pieces out.
Okay. Am I doing this right?
Yeah, that's it.
One of the nice things about thatch is that you don't have to make it. It grows naturally. Certain reeds, like the ones that grow along the riverbanks of Norfolk, are perfect material. In the cutting season, when the worst of winter is over, but spring has not yet come, reed cutters like Eric Edwards go to work. They know what reeds to go for and have the knack of making just the right sort of bundles for the thatcher. Ray needs over 1,000 of these bundles of cut reeds to thatch one roof. I asked him how long the roof would last.
Anything up to 100 years.
100 years?
Yeah.
I thought it would rot after about 2 years.
Oh no, as long as it's got plenty of light and air, you know, it will last 100 years.
So if it's so good, why doesn't everybody have it?
Well, 300 years ago or more, this used to be the cheapest form of roofing you could get. Today it's probably the most expensive.
So how much is it in relation to, say, a tiled roof?
Oh, about 3 times as much.
3 times?
3 times, yeah.
One reason a thatched roof is so expensive is because it takes a long time to do. It takes 2 days to tile a roof, but up to 6 weeks to thatch a roof.
Once I've got this dressed into position, you see, I then have to get this hazelnut stick, which is called a sway.
Why is it hazelnut?
It's the most durable for the job. It lasts longer than any other wood. I'm searching for the rafter now.
Ray attaches the thatch to the rafters, working his way up the roof.
Now, I've got to put this hook a 10-inch hook into the rafter. And that holds the reed on.
I asked Ray Attu why anyone would still want to have a thatched roof.
Well, it's a natural material of the area, and of course it keeps the roof warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
How does it do that?
Well, it's an insulation, and the thickness of the thatched roof is approximately 12 inches.
I understand how it insulates the house, but how does it keep it cool?
Well, it stops the sun from penetrating in. If you've got a slate roof, the sun penetrates onto the slate roof and it heats up from the inside and keeps the house too warm. Thatch reflects the heat away from the inside of the house.
The reason thatch keeps a house warm in winter and cool in summer is because of its structure. The reed is hollow, and because each piece has air inside, the thick layer of reed acts as an insulator. But why doesn't rain soak into this kind of straw roof? The Norfolk reed has a natural water repellent. It stays dry because of its hard, shiny surface. And when the reeds are stacked close together on a roof, rain runs down the reeds and off the roof. To ensure the rain runs away, thatched roofs are built at a steep angle or pitch, at least 45 degrees. To finish the roof, another layer of thatch is added along the top. This covers the exposed ends of the thatch and gives added protection against the weather. This is how the thatched roof looked after Ray had finished. It may look quaint, but it's very practical. Now that the barn was finished, Ray took me to the Norfolk riverbanks so that I could watch him carefully choose reeds for his next roof. I asked him what was the best reed to use and why.
You've got a piece of reed here that's very hard. And you feel that it's very hard. That's because it grows in all the water. The water makes the reed hard. And that's what we look for when we buy reed. The hard reed is the best reed, and the best reed grow in water.
Will it regrow once you cut it?
Oh yes, that grow every year.
And so if you cut all of that area there, it would all have regrown by next year?
Exactly the way it is you see it now.
Wow.
Yeah.
After Ray had loaded up the boat, with enough reed to start work on the next roof he's thatching, Eric Edwards gave us a ride home in his boat through the beautiful East Anglian countryside.
No, but I don't understand. Why not, okay? Why not? If pipes are all hollow, why not have triangular-shaped tubes, like a triangular drinking straw or a square garden hose? I think this is an entire area of tubing that's been overlooked.
I don't think so. Okay. Here are 3 sheets of plastic.
Mm-hmm.
All the same size.
Oh, wait, let me check that. Yeah, okay.
Okay. You shape this into a triangular tube.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shape this into a square tube, and we'll shape this into a circle tube.
A round tube. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. I need the ruler.
Here.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Do it again.
Wait. Can't see. Wait.
Wait, I'm done. Okay, I got this thing on.
Okay.
Now what?
Okay. Here is a circle tube, a triangle tube, and a square tube.
So what do we do now?
Okay.
What are you doing that for?
Okay. Take one of this clay with. Okay. Take one of the shaped tubes, and you put it in so water won't leak out.
Ah, I got it. I would have thought of that.
Just enough.
You don't need that much here. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now we have a triangle tube, a square tube, and a circle tube. Each one is made from the same amount of plastic.
Right.
Okay? Which one do you think will hold the most liquid?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the square one. The square one will.
Okay. Here are 3 containers of liquid. They contain the same amount of liquid. Okay?
The same amount each one.
Yes.
Okay.
Start pouring in the triangle.
Triangle first. Whoa, very close. Triangle holds all the liquid.
Okay.
Square is next. And the square one holds, oh, it's just about the same. It's near the top. It holds all the liquid, but there's room just for a little bit more. And the round one,
Let's see.
wow. The round tube took all the liquid and still has room for a lot more.
Right.
That's incredible. Didn't look like it. Let me fill up the rest. Look at how much more liquid the round tube takes.
You can hold the most in this amount of tubing
With a
in the
round tube.
Right.
Yeah. So the round tube holds the most of whatever you're holding. So much for square plumbing.
The tube, one structure that's hard to improve on.
Wherever you find a pipe, reed, or other tube, you find a structure that can do something for you. Help keep a house warm, make music, hold weight, or become a bike. What does being round do for a tube or pipe? It makes the most of a given amount of material. Structure. It does something for you. 321 Contact is a production of the Children's Television Workshop. For a copy of a comprehensive 321 Contact Teacher's Guide, send a check for $5 to Children's Television Workshop, 321 Contact, Box TG, 1 Lincoln Plaza, New York, New York, 10023.